What 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 up YouTube? It's Kyle. In this video I want to talk about like kind of confidence tip. It's more like real mindset. Like this is kind of about how like why you don't want to hesitate when expressing yourself or approaching people. I think some people, when they approach other people or just when they're expressing themselves, they will act very dull, and I think it's because they don't want to take a risk. They don't want their actual personality to be judged, so they just try to dim themselves down, or sometimes even act awkward purposely, or they act as if the situation is awkward, so that other people can't judge them first, because they already realize that they're awkward, and you can see this with this podcast. There was that woman who recently became really famous. She had that interview with Drake where they were like laying in the bed or whatever, and throughout her whole entire podcast she acts kind of awkward on purpose. And I think she ended up admitting something like I believe she ended up admitting something like she was afraid to show her real personality. Don't quote me on that, but it was something along those lines. So it's like people will act awkward on purpose just so that they don't show themselves, so nobody that can judge them, but you don't want to do that. Like, you gotta be able to be willing to be judged, at least to some extent, and show yourself, like, your personality, and express yourself, right? The other reason I think people will act hesitant when like approaching people or expressing themselves is because they don't want to scare the other person away by being overly aggressive. But I think sometimes it can actually go the opposite, where if you're super hesitant when you're like walking up to somebody, like you're like, you're not really like sure, can I sit here, blah blah blah, it actually makes the person think that you're not supposed to be doing that. Like, you're not supposed to be talking to them, because you're acting as if you're breaking a rule. If you're being hesitant, you're acting as if you've done something wrong. Like, that's how people can see it. I believe that's how people will see it. And so like when you approach somebody or say hi, like in the street or whatever, like, yeah, I mean, everybody understands the emotion of nervousness, but sometimes you actually want to be more aggressive. Just go up and normalize it. Hi, how's your day going? Or, I mean, you don't want to be too overexcited, but yeah, I think sometimes people will act hesitant, like, just because they don't want to come off as too aggressive, but it can actually make the person think that you're not supposed to be, you're not worthy to be approaching them, or that you're doing something, you're about to do something bad, which could scare them because you're acting as if you're not supposed to be there, yeah, and that actually happened to me recently, like, where a guy was kind of hesitant. It was just a guy I know, like a guy I've talked to on the bus before. He was a little bit hesitant to come and sit by me, and then it kind of made me think, like, oh, he didn't have to do that. Like, we already know each other. He could have just came up, sat down, and said hi. Like, it's better to do that and then go off their cue, just being more confident. But yeah, and I think sometimes if you're just half in, half out, like in your approach, I think it does something psychological to a person where it can actually make them a little bit irritated. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like they end up wanting you to choose. Like, do you want to approach and express yourself, or do you not? And it kind of can make them like want to make you commit one way or the other. It can almost be a little bit irritating. I don't know, maybe it's kind of like that, like, Chinese water torture, you know what I'm saying? Like, where they drip water on someone's forehead until it makes them go crazy. It's like it's not quite like something, but like it almost is. It's like right between, so it can like irritate the person. So you want to like, you know, commit all the way, at least, you know. I mean, yeah, there's always like a chance, you know, people find our nervousness cute or whatever, but a girl will, but yeah, you don't have to hold back on purpose. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. It's just like a mindset trick, and like try it out. You want to normalize things, especially, you know, if you're in the workplace. Like, you might think to yourself, okay, I need to be hesitant because it's the workplace, right? You know, so because you don't want to approach the girl in the workplace and get in trouble. But actually, if you're hesitant, it actually ends up making the conversation and interaction not seem normal, which probably makes her more likely to want to get you in trouble. So it's kind of like backwards, you know. If you just go up and talk to her, and you do this all the time, it kind of normalizes it if you're just more confident about it. And then they're less likely to think that something ulterior is going on, you know. So yeah, it's kind of backwards. You gotta think backwards. All right, have a good day, yo. Peace.